Psalms chapter 50, verse 22. Now consider this, ye that forget YAHAWASHI, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. I want to give all praises and honor to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the spirit, to do this lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to listen up, lest the Lord tear you into pieces. Okay? Listen, lest the Lord tear you into pieces. Okay? And that does not sound like the God that the world teaches. Okay? That lets us know the Lord ain't playing. All right? And we all can go through different stories, okay, throughout this book in different generations where he tore people to pieces. Okay? We'll start with us as Israelites. Okay? Where he tore Israelites into pieces. Okay, an example of that is in the wilderness. All right, when they didn't trust him, they lost faith. They didn't believe. Okay, they were murmuring, talking shit. They were ungrateful, unthankful. What happened? Okay, he started tearing them into pieces. So we have to examine this, man. Okay, let's read it again. Psalm chapter 50, verse 22. Now consider this. We have to consider. Ye that forget YAHAWASHI, lest I tear you into pieces and there be none to deliver. And you don't know how the Lord is going to do that, man. Okay, I remember that show, 1,000 Ways to Die. Well, there's way more than that. Okay, beyond ways the Lord can take you out, make you suffer. Okay, because you forgot him. You're not thinking upon YAHAWASHI. Okay, and the glory of YAHAWASHI. You're not being thankful, man. It's our duty on this earth to be on this earth, to be thankful for what the Lord is doing for us. Okay, in general. Okay, how about starting with giving us life in general? Okay, verse 23, it says, whoso offer praise glorifieth me, and to him that order his conversation aright will I show the salvation of YAHAWASHI. Okay, let's go into that conversation in the Blue Letter Bible and see what that's talking about.
Strong's H 1870. Derech.
Okay, that would be Barak. It says a way, road, distance, journey, a manner. Okay, how you operate, the road, the way, the path, direction. Right, order your direction. All right. Meaning where you're going, what path. Okay, are you staying on that thin line? All right, that it speaks about in 2nd Esdras, that thin line, you have a fire on one side and you have a deep water on the other side. And it's a thin line in between, okay, to get to the kingdom. Okay, the narrow path gets to the broad. The broad is the kingdom of heaven. Once you get through the narrow path, through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so are you standing on that path, that road, that journey, that direction? Okay, because there is a manner that you have to stay on that thin line. Okay, because it's very, very thin. All right, and if you don't stay on that type of manner, that vibe, that conversation, okay, see, the conversation is not just what you say, okay, because that can be lip service. You can say all kinds of shit and not act anything out. Okay, so that's why I went into this word for those who don't understand. Okay, that conversation is a way, it's a mindset, it's spiritual. Okay, that conversation is in YAHAWASHI as the mediator between Yahawah. Okay, you got to think about all those things. Okay, when you talk about the conversation. Okay, according to the scriptures. It says a manner, a habit, right. Okay, I spoke about the past days about a habit of what? Praying first when you wake up, putting the Lord first, and not quickly going to your phone and doing everything else. You're creating a habit to keep you on that thin line. Okay, it says a way, of course of life, of moral character, right? The inward man. Okay, because part of being called All right. The duty is to do what? To work on our inward man within this grace period that the Lord has given us. Okay. Let's go back. Let's read it again. Psalms chapter 50, verse 23. Whoso offer praise glorifieth me. And to him that order his conversation. So I broke down the conversation, his way, how he operates. Okay. And what he says, a combination of that as well. Okay. What he talks about. Is he speaking wicked things or is he speaking righteous things? Okay. And it's the righteous things that he's speaking. Does it line up with his way, his manner, his path? Okay, you see? And it says, and to him that order his conversation aright, will I show the salvation of YAHAWASHI. All right. Let's go into Proverbs chapter 4, verse 25. Start there. It says, let thy eyes look right on. That's that path. And let thy eyelids look straight before thee. Okay. Now, YAHAWASHI has put teachers and prophets on the earth to guide you this way. Okay. And that's why when you read, thy eyes shall see thy teachers, and he shall tell you, go this way. When you turn to the left, turn to the right, to direct you, to give you the instructions of YAHAWASHI. Okay. That's how the Lord operates. He ain't going to change it, man. Okay. Look at all the generations. He rose up prophets, his sons. Okay. To teach Jake. All right. Verse 26. Ponder the path of thy feet. Okay. Consider, lest he tear you to pieces. Okay. And let all thy ways be established, because the Lord is going to establish it. Okay. Because you're going the way he wants you to go. Okay. Now he's going to direct it. All right. Verse 27. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. Okay. And you're going to hear that from a man of the Lord telling you. He's going to teach you this. Okay. I just quoted it, but let me get it, man. Okay. To prove that further. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 30. I'm going to read verse 20 and 21. Verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity, that's our slavery, our punishment, and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. Verse 21. And thy ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way. You hear that? So the prophets, the teachers are going to say this. Okay, this is the way. Walk you in it when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. Saying the same thing. Let's go back. Proverbs chapter 4, I'll start back. You know what? At verse 25. Let thy eyes look right on, and let thy eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. You can't do that by yourself. Verse 27. Turn not to the right hand, nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. Let's go back to Isaiah chapter 30, verse 21. And thy ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk you in it, when you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left. There you go. Okay, I just proved it. Okay, you can't get around it, man. Okay, all you rebellious jakes that hate instruction and hate the prophets, man, you can't get around it. The prophets are going to be here. Okay, YAHAWASHI is going to speak through them, whether you like it or not. And if you don't listen, he's going to tear your ass into pieces. It's that simple. Okay, and if we don't listen and continue to do what we're supposed to do, with what he gave us, he's going to tear us into pieces. Okay, that's the truth. All right, let's go to Proverbs chapter 3. Let's start at verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Right. Okay, you got to consider and examine so that what? So that YAHAWASHI will direct your path, man, on that thin line. Okay, because if he's not directing your path on the right hand side, then he has allowed the left hand side, the demons, to direct you. And if they're directing you, you're done. Okay, that means you're going to be torn into pieces, not just physically, but spiritually first. Okay, you're going to be all dark and messed up, man, in the head, man, bugged out. Okay, verse 7. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Right. Okay, so I'd rather get this than torn into pieces. Hell no, man. I don't want that, man. You shouldn't want that. Let's go to Sirach chapter 2, verse 6. Okay. Because I read about ordering your way aright, right? It says, believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Your conversation, going back to that word, that conversation, order thy way aright. Okay, your conversation aright, your actions, how you think, how you walk, how you move, how you operate, and trust in him. So there go that trust. I speak a lot about trust, especially lately. Lord willing, I have another lesson coming on that. Okay. But right here lets you know one of the ways to order your way right so that he don't tear you to pieces is to trust in him sincerely. No fake shit. Like you sincerely trust in YAHAWASHI, you into it. Okay. Don't be like Jake in the wilderness, man, that did not trust and went in circles for 40 years. Okay. And was dying off. Okay. That got torn into pieces. All right. Let's go to Sirach chapter 18, verse 24. Think upon the wrath that shall be at the end. Okay. Think upon the wrath that shall be at the end. Now, how can you think upon the wrath if you don't understand the wrath is coming? How can you do that? Which proves again, the Lord is going to speak through the prophets. We broke it down what's happening at the end. We gave you the prophecy. We told you America going to be destroyed by fire. Okay. And different other things of prophecy. The devil going to come down with great wrath, knowing he got a short time. We broke all that down. Okay. So now that you know, you have listened to us, think upon the wrath that shall be at the end. Now think about it. And the time of vengeance, okay, when he shall turn away his face. Have we not spoken this through the Spirit? That if you Jakes don't listen, when all hell break loose, you're going to look stupid. The Lord ain't going to deliver you. He's going to laugh at your calamity, like you read in Proverbs chapter 1. That's how you know the Spirit is speaking through us, man. Okay, that's how you know, humbly speaking. It's just the truth. Okay, let's end it on this. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of YAHAWASHI. Right, man. Because he can tear you into pieces in all kinds of ways. Okay, so one day at a time, repent. Be in the spirit of repentance. The Lord sees, man. Okay, he knows if you're going through the cycle of examining yourself, and though you may fall, you got contract, you get back up. He's seeing that process. Keep going. Okay, we know we're in this flesh. This flesh is whack. We need to be changed. That is obvious. Okay, but until then, until we completely change, your inward man has room to get better. Okay, with belief and faith in YAHAWASHI first, the mediator. Okay, because if you don't believe in the mediator, then you're done. The Father ain't going to deal with you, man, at all. Okay, so with that, I hope you're edified. I want to give our praises and honor to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to you, Akim out there that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.